Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a click-to-play system just like this in less than 100 lines of code. I'm not sure if it could be done in any less. If it can, let me know. But it's just a simple click, it'll start placing, and then you click and it'll place it down in the world. So let's start. You see I've got the pre-made ones here. Obviously I made a working system before the tutorial, and I'm going to teach you how to make it. So we're going to start with the client. First, we need to define a few variables. So first variable is placing. So that would be to detect if the player is currently trying to place something or not. Next one would be preview. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Next one would be preview. This would be the actual clone of the model that we're placing. Next is active connection, as we will need to do a run service connection to move the part consistently as the mouse moves. Next, we need to find run service. This is where we're going to use for our loop. Run service. Next is player. Oops. Next is mouse. And after that, we're going to define our first function. So that will be start placing. And we're going to pass a model through that. So this is so you can switch the model up that you're actually placing, of course. Check. First, we want to check for if is placing is true. We ignore the function being called because we're already trying to place something. Next, if preview exists, then preview destroy. This is just in case a bug happens where the preview maybe consists in the world after you've actually placed it. It just destroys it if it's already existing. Next, we're going to set is placing to true so that this can't be run again. Now we're going to actually put the model in the world. So we start by defining preview, and we do model clone. This creates a new instance of the model. Next, we want to set its parent to workspace. We want to next actually we want to do a loop to set some certain values, and I'll show you what happens without this loop as well. But it essentially just makes the placement a lot smoother and fixes a lot of common bugs with placement systems. So we want to get all the parts underneath this preview model, and if it's a base part, we want to go v.canCollide equals false. v.canTouch equals false. And v.canQuery equals false. So this means players can't collide with it. This means that it can't call a .touched event in scripts. And this means that it won't be used. If all three of these are off, it won't be recognized by any scripts. And you'll see why we need these off in a second. So next, we want to define our active connection to run service render stepped connect function, and we want to check if preview and is placing. So we want to make sure there's a preview and we're trying to place something. We want to do local target equals mouse.target .target, and then if there is a mouse target, then we need to do local mouse hit equals mouse.hit.position. And then we set local, well actually, no. Next, we define our model position to vector3.new mouse hit.x. And then we're going to define this actually as preview.primary part.y, and then mouse hit.z. So what this does is this will clamp it so that it can only move on the X and Z axis, and the Y axis up and down will stay the same throughout the movement. Afterwards, we do preview.primary part move to model position. And there we have it. Next is the actual place function. This is very simple. Local function place model. If not is placing, or or not preview, then return end. Local position equals preview dot primary part dot position and game dot replicate storage dot network dot request placement fire server with position, and then simply set all of these on cleanup, which means removing them so that they don't take up game memory, because obviously if we didn't remove them every time you place something, it's going to add a new part into the world. Eventually that will cause issues with the game's memory. And this, if you don't know what this is a remote event, which means we can ask the server to do something, because right now we're on the client, and we want, if you're placing something, we want the preview to be only visible to you, which is why we do this on the client. But we want the actual model that's placed to be visible on the server, to be visible to everyone. Just dropped something. We want it to be visible to everyone. And to do that, we need to ask the server to place this at this position. So we're asking the server to place at this position. And this event is under replicate storage .network .request placement. So that's our client side. Oh wait, one more thing. We need to do mouse button one down connect function. If is placing, then place, and then we're just going to go workspace.example, else start placing workspace.example. And if we see this workspace.example is simply a primary part that covers the full thing with some world constraints in to keep everything together, and 3 more parts that just make up a, well, I don't know what it is, it's a H I guess, but this is just an example showing you can place a model. The model must have this primary part property set, or have a part called primary part underneath it, one or the other, but it's best to actually set the primary part property in the properties menu for the model to whatever part covers the entire thing, or I guess you could say whatever part is the root part of this model, and that is what it will be moved by. Next, we will go to our tutorial placement on the server. So in this one, it's literally 12 lines of code. Game.replicate storage .network .request placement .on server event connect function, and then we've got player and position. Oops, I did not mean to do that. There you go, player position. Next, we need to create an instance of the model. So placer equals workspace.example clone, and then we need to set the parent of placer to workspace. We need to move it to the position specified, and then we need to loop back through it and set all those values back to what they were before we disabled them for the sake of placement. So we're checking if it's a base part, and then we simply go v dot canCollad equals true, b dot query equals true, b dot canTouch equals true. Now let's see what happens when we disable our pre-made scripts and we load up. We're in, check the output. I don't see any errors. We click, oh, there is an error. It seems that I've missed a dot position in tutorial placement line 35. So we're trying to do preview.primaryPart.y, but primary part is actually just a base part, so we need to actually reference its position. That was my bad. I must have had a little bit of an oversight there. Now if we try it, it's broken again because I have missed something else. So here we're trying to do the move to on the primary part rather than on the actual model. This is a common thing in scripting, by the way, is little errors, one-liners, one little word wrong, and it shows these errors. It should work now. There you go. Okay, so after trial and error, we can move this anywhere we want on the X and Z axis. We can click and it places in the world. And if we go to the server, we can see that it places on the server. But if we start placing here, for example, and I go to the server, there's nothing because it is client only when you do the beginning of the placement at least. And yeah, you can click, you can place. It'd be quite simple to add an R button in to rotate it 90 degrees. You'd simply just set it to C-frame to the 90 degree rotation, or add 90 degrees to the rotation of the C-frame. But I wanted to keep this video kind of short and sweet, just over 10 minutes. if anyone wants further advancement of this and wants it to be made into something like my previous video, I was about to show you guys, but let me find it here. So this is one that I've made for a tower defense game that I'm working on. And obviously in this, it's got like a radius, and you click it and all this. And if you wanted a more advanced version of a placement system, or any other scripts at all, tutorials of how to make them, let me know in the comments. And let me know if you even enjoyed this video and if it was informational. But I thank you for listening, and I thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.